This is Andy Perrault for ID Boxing. I'm joined by trainer and manager Dave Coldwell here in London at the Drum in Wembley. Dave, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks, mate. How are you?
I'm good. I know it's been a long day for you. You've had a lot of interviews to do, and we finally sat you down for this one. Jordan Gill returns on Saturday night. Kiko Martinez, former world champion. The question whenever Kiko fights is, how much does he have left? Dave, how much do you think Kiko has left?
He still has his power. He still has his desire, and put those two things together, and he's still a dangerous fighter. Listen, he got beat in his last fight against Josh Warrington, and he broke Warrington's jaw. So that tells you what he's got left. He gave Warrington an hard fight still, and he broke his jaw. The fight before that, he knocks out Kid Galahad. Tells you what he's got left.
For Jordan heading into this fight again, there's still people wanting to see how much of an effect his last fight had on him. Obviously, it was a very grueling fight for him. You've seen him in the gym now. He's had plenty of months back in the gym. How has he looked and how has he felt back in there?
So he did both eardrums. Eardrums healed back up after about 3 weeks. If you go and watch, if you can see the fight from really up close when he's in that corner, he's blocking, riding, and parrying majority of them shots. So when people think yes, his legs legs aren't there, because of his knee and his equilibrium. Is that how you say it? Equilibrium. That's it. I want my finger on that. And so he needed the rope to prop himself up. But he didn't take as much. You go in there and you watch the majority of fights and see how many punches a fighter takes in a fight. He'll have took less in that fight. He just looked really bad for about 3 rounds from outside and people from looking in. But if you watch the amount that he's catching and carrying, he didn't take that much punishment, and he was actually fine the next day. Jordan's a kid that marks up around the eyes anyway, so whether it's an easy fight or not, he marks up. But as far as he had a good rest, he had 3 months where he couldn't punch because of his right hand. His hands has healed up nicely now. His reactions and everything in sparring is second to none. So yeah, there's absolutely no effects from that you can see in any sort of preparation.
How does he go about defeating Kiko Martinez on Saturday night?
If he does it the smart, intelligent way, he can make this his sort of fight. He'll be under intense pressure all the way through for every second. The thing about Kiko Martinez is as Kid Galahad found, is you cannot switch off and lose concentration for 1 second. And that's the biggest challenge. Because when you've got a good jab, you've got good hand speed, and you can pop a little bit like Jordan. If you stay concentrated, you can control that. But there's going to be moments where Kiko's going to get to you. I remember when watching Frampton box Kiko Martinez. Frampton's class fighter, really good boxer. There were moments where Kiko catches Frampton. He's going to catch you. Because he's going to keep on swinging and keep on coming. And you have to be able to ride those moments out. And that's where your mind comes in, not to press the panic button, not to lose his shape, and to stay disciplined. Jordan's got all the tools in the box to beat Kiko Martinez, and he's a very, very good counter puncher as well. So don't be surprised if he catches Kiko on the way in and knocks him out. I'm not saying he's just going to win on points, or he can only win on points. No, Jordan's fully capable of knocking Kiko Martinez out, but Kiko's capable of knocking anybody out.
Dave, Lerrone Richards teamed up with Sky and Boxer. Yeah, you have a fight. Talk to me about it.
We're just happy in the gym. Everybody's happy in the gym for him that he's actually got a fight. We're excited. We're looking forward to it. He's excited. It's been a frustrating time for him, but he's been so professional. He's carried on training, carried on developing, learning, and mentally, he's under all this time. The plan was always been about trying to get him more to throw more, to be more proactive in the ring. And I've always said it'd take a few fights, and he had the 2 fights, and then all this time that we've had since, he understands he's got to be more spiteful with his punching in order to be an attraction, fans to give him more respect. And he's not going to go in there like Gerald McClellan or Mike Tyson, but he's going to be more spiteful. And you can see that in sparring. And He's very, very good. He's shit hot. He's very, very good. And with the attitude that he's got now, where he's not satisfied with just popping. Again, he's not going to be reckless and stupid, but when the openings are there, he's punching with more spite.
That's been something which people have brought up when talking about Lerrone for a while now. How difficult has it been for you to not coach it out of him, but maybe get him to feel like he needs to start being more aggressive and change it up? Because as I've spoken to Lerrone about it, same conversations you'd have had, when he gets comfortable, he just sticks to that gear if he knows he's ahead of his opponent.
But that's all part of the process. So when you start working with somebody, you have to. It takes time. When S-Jam asked me to train him, I said no, because I looked at his fights and I said, he comes across as lazy. He comes across as he's got no gears. He's comfortable just doing what he's doing and cruising. And there were the fights with Lennox Clark and Tommy Langford, and I didn't want to train him because of that reason. And I knew, and in the first good few months, maybe year of working together, the amount of rows that I was having with him, like bollocking him, not rows, but me bollocking him because he's not doing enough. It's great, but you're not doing enough. It's great, but you're not doing enough. And even a Gongora fight, ask him about the Gongora fight, what I thought of that. It was brilliant for the first 6-7 rounds. Then what I wanted him doing, what we'd worked on doing, start breaking him up. He did for a round, and then he just went back into cruise mode. But then after that, he understood, and then what happened since that, he understands. So all this time that he's been out of the ring, fighting-wise, it's not just been developing him physically, he's been developing mentally. He's becoming where he now understands that he can't just cruise. And now I'm getting a response when in sparring, if I tell him I want more, he's doing more. And he's understanding that actually I can. And he's a lot better fighter now, mate. He's a lot better fighter. This kid on a skills level and ability level, he's got elite attributes. And like I said, he's not going to be Gerald McClellan, but he's going to be more spiteful, and he's looking to hurt people more in sparring. He's looking to hurt people more when he fights, and people are going to like what they see. I don't expect it to happen in one fight. This is why we're saying we need him to be active. Get a couple of quick fights and then a big one, because the process has got to now go from the gym into a fight, and so that'll take. And bear in mind, he'll not have fought for like 10, 11 months. So we need this fight to get through and then to go into another one quick and then let him off the leash again.
Dave, looking at that world scene at one...
And just say as well, he's about 14 fights in. He's still a prospect, but he's a prospect that's won British, Commonwealth, European, IBO world titles, been a top 10 ranked Ring Magazine fighter. 14 fights. So people need to understand he's still learning about himself as a fighter and still developing himself mentally and physically as a fighter. And I think he's done a pretty fucking good job so far. And if he was American, the performance that he put on against Gongora, everybody would be all going crazy about him. Eddie would have got out of the ring saying, "Oh, this kid's unbelievable. This kid's..." No, instead he gets out of the ring and talks about, "Oh, he's very difficult to beat." But fucking hell, that was a great performance against a guy that everyone expected to knock him out in his 14th fight. Look at what De Carolis has done to DAZN Spain's big up. Look at what Lerrone did to De Carolis. This tells you how good this kid is. That was his 13th fight. So you got to give a bit of leeway and say, look, he's done well. Now it just needs to, again, it's part of everybody's career. Progress. That's what we do as fighters.
Dave, just one final one on him. As we look towards that world scene at 168, obviously Canelo holds those belts, but the likes of Caleb Plant, David Benavidez, Charlo, if he moves up, you're saying tomorrow, but how confident are you that next year that will be delivered one of those guys?
I just hope so. Caleb Plant, we've spoke about it, I won't have a problem with that. After Zach Chelli, I won't have a problem. If that opportunity came, we'll take it. But hopefully he gets a couple of quick fights and then gets in the driving seat where he can get an opportunity like that.
even though the IBO title might not be recognised as kind of one of the leading titles by many, are you surprised that, especially with Canelo holding up those titles, there hasn't been more of kind of a want or desire to face Lerrone, that he maybe hasn't held him in any better stead?
Yeah, but people obviously listen. When they were both with Matchroom, we asked for Ryder fight, but we were told, oh, Ryder's got a big fight in America coming up. This. Well, Ryder's fighting Zach Parker, so that fight could have happened. Not because Lerrone didn't want it.
What do you make of Parker-Ryder?
Good fight, really good fight, brilliant. And I think it's great that Queensbury and Matchroom are working together. It's brilliant. Well, all the bullshit with Fury and AJ falling out and everything. At least now they've got business relationship, and now we can get some big fights done between each camps. Great.
How do you expect to see that one playing out, Parker-Ryder?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's a really good fight because Ryder's a good fighter. What I've seen is Zach Parker, good fighter, can punch. I just don't know.
Somebody who used to work with Richards-Zak has got a big fight coming up with Tyson Fury on December 3rd, Dave. Not the one which everybody wanted, but what do you make of it?
I'm really happy for Derek. That's all I can say. Is I'm really happy for Derek Chisora. He gets his big opportunity, gets his big payday, his world title opportunity. So you got to play. Listen, what he's done for British boxing and the career that he's had, and what he's given of himself, time after time. You can't begrudge it him. As a boxing fan, if I'm neutral and forget about the fact that I'm happy for Derek, it's not what I want to see. It's not something that I'm excited about as a heavyweight title fight. So yeah, that's how it is for me. That's what it is. But I will say, when I've heard the explanations of, I saw Frank Warren's interview where he was going through the rankings, and it's like, oh, okay, well, really, it is what it is.
Everybody will see Tyson obviously as a massive favourite for a fight, but with somebody who's worked with Derek before, Dave, how do you rate his chances at all in that fight?
The worry for me is the reach and the size of Parker was a problem for Derek to get past because he's got slow feet. It's not rocket science. Derek's feet aren't the fastest at closing the distance down. In little bursts, yes, but on consistent level, no. And I don't believe that a little burst where he gets in for one attack and then not for a while and then another, I don't believe that's enough to beat Fury. I think he needs to be able to get on him and turn it into keep chewing him up. But I don't think his feet are going to be able to do that, because if he can't against Parker and he kept walking onto shots with Parker, then somebody who's 6'9" is going to be even worse. And somebody who's got the skills of Fury and can do what he wants, whether he wants to. I mean, last time I think he boxed him as a southpaw. Derek's a better fighter now, and he's the way that he looks after his body's better now. But I also believe Fury's a better fighter now. And I think if Fury comes out like he did against Wilder 2, I think that could be a quick night. Unfortunately, not a quick night, but I think it's a 6 to 8 round sort of job.
Moving away from that, Dave, because I know we're packing up here. Just one final thing I want to get your thoughts on. We saw the news yesterday that Conor Benn will not be renewing his British Boxing Board of Control licence. And I just want to get your take on that. That latest development.
I just find the whole situation fucking frustrating, because there's so much good about this sport, but then you get something like this, and it's not even about the Conor Benn situation that I'm frustrated with. Yes, you want answers straight away, but it doesn't work like that. When I saw that, I was like, what? But then you think, well, he's being advised by lawyers. They know more than me. So obviously they've told him to do what he's doing. So there must be a reason behind it. I don't know that reason. So from outside, when you don't know the reason, you're thinking, what the fuck are they doing that for? But there must be a reason. When Eddie Hearn's swerving questions and can't answer this and another, it's because he's being advised by lawyers. So I don't know what to say to that, because I don't know why they're being, because obviously there's a legal issue. So because none of us know the answers to these questions, it's all guesswork, and it's like, well, what? For me, the bigger issue isn't even about Conor Benn and this drug fail. It's about it keeps happening where there's a drug fail, and then there's inconsistencies in what happens to him. Oh well, actually, he hadn't cheated. Oh well, he had a bit of meat. Oh well, he did this. Oh, there's always some, and then I look at on this case. You look at, oh well, board don't want to do this because it's VADA. Well, it doesn't matter if it's VADA, if it's UCAD, if it's fucking whoever else it is. If there's a drugs fail or on a test, or an adverse reaction, adverse finding on a test, right? The fight should be cancelled. Full stop. The board are the ones that have got that power. You can put it on Eddie and Matchroom, which I think they should have cancelled straight away. They should have turned around and said, you know what, fucking hell, this has come up. We need to do the right thing here. We need to cancel it. But they're probably getting pressure off of DAZN, saying, oh, well, we need this show, this whatever. If there's one way of this fight happening, it's got to happen. So they're probably getting pressure off of that. Obviously, Matchroom has spent shitloads of money promoting fights. So obviously, from their business head, and their run as a business, they want the show to go ahead. But that decision should have been taken out of the hands straight away by the governing body of the sport. If they're governing if they're the governing body, why wait 10 days or whatever it is before you turn around and say, well, actually, we're not going to sanction it, mate? Is this true? Is there an adverse finding? Yes. Check. Is it? Yep, it is. Right. Show's cancelled. And then Queen died. Sky had massive Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall fight. Massive, huge. They cancelled it, a drop a hat, because they did the right thing. Whether people agree with it is another thing. They did the right thing, and they said, we need to, for whatever it is, we'll delay it for X amount of weeks. That's it. You could have done the same thing with this show and said, do you know what? There's an adverse reaction, an adverse finding. We need to investigate. In the meantime, we're going to put the show back, see what the findings are about. If it's contaminated, whatever, or if it's cheated or whatever, we will find out, and then we will go back to the fight. Why not? Why can't you do that? Because there's so much money involved, and there's so much pressure put on people. Oh, this needs to happen, that needs to happen. I just think that's where the board, they're the governing body, should turn around and straight away and say, sorry lads, women, men, everybody involved, you can't have this show going on until we know what's happened. And then it's simple, it's done. Because the whole cloak and dagger effect has made people fucking stopping me on the street, making out as though boxing's corrupt, making out as though boxing's this and that. Oh, there's a cover-up, there's it. I'm not saying there is, I'm not saying there isn't, because I don't know. So I'm same as everybody else. But what I'm saying is, by doing that, you're leaving it open for people to think that. Whereas the board, the governing body, turn around and say, shutting it down. Because I tell you what, if I was putting on a show and they rocked up and they come to my venue and they rock up and I've not had tie wraps on the shit on the seats and things like that, they turn around to me and say, you either get tie wraps at ringside on the seats or we cancel the show. And they've got no way about cancelling small hall shows. So it is what it is.
Right, Dave, we do have to wrap up now because we've got one more interview to do before we shoot off. So thanks for speaking to me in ID Boxing.
Cheers, mate. Nice one.